In order to do that effectively, I needed to identify the litigations and the claims that arose during those litigations. With respect to the reference to Exhibit A, that's a calculation of the total amount of money that will be paid. I would suggest that we have the township CFO calculate that sum now that we have the interest rate known and the accrual period known. I don't want to get into a dispute about what is owed, and I would suggest that if we can't do it now, that the township CFO be directed to prepare that calculation. I'll also note that this resolution does purportedly bind future governing bodies, and I think that it's fair for both the public and those future governing officials to know exactly how much money is authorized. I did also add a requirement of law, which was number 5, which is that the CFO by statute has to file the required appropriate certifications indicating that there are funds available. With that, I think I stayed pretty much true to your original motion to authorize payments. If you disagree with that,
No, I don't. I do not.
All right, and I would ask that we add number 6 to the list of conditions, and that be that before any payment is made, that we receive the approval of the township's insurance carriers.
You want to make a motion to do that?
No, I do not want an item 6. So I've made the motion.
Mr. Lott, would it be appropriate to explain, in the absence of the number 6, what that could look like for our insurance coverage?
Prefer not to give my advice in public, but it is fairly standard that in the midst of any litigation, that the township is not able to settle any claims raised in the litigation without the consent of our insurers.
By doing so, do we jeopardize our insurance coverage?
Yes.
So the township would be at the full dollar value obligation going forward without the support, potentially, of the insurance carrier?
Potentially, that's correct.
I think the key word there is potentially. A motion was made, I second it.
So a motion made by
Go ahead, Mr. Mann.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, seconded by Ms. Grignani. Roll call, Mr. DePiero,
Yes.
Ms. Grignani,
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy.
Well, I just want to say, that the town, as people have pointed out, spends a significant amount of tax dollars on the Carriffy litigation. Currently, there is no active Carriffy litigation, and the township was successful.
Council President, that's not true. That's factually inaccurate.
Okay.
There are 3 appeals pending and an arbitration.
Okay. I said, but the township was successful so far in 1, 3, and 4.
All those litigations that I've indicated in the resolution are still active.
And then Carriffy 2 was settled.
Correct.
The motion pays Mr. Carriffy the earned contractual obligated compensation when he retired in good standing. And I can't speak to anyone's motivation in this matter, but for me, after reviewing the information, in my opinion, it's the right thing to do, so I vote yes.
Ms. Peterson.
I believe, and I have always believed since my first day in this chair, and I have argued behind closed doors, that Mr. Carriffy is owed this money. You might want to let me finish. However, the privileged documents, which the public now has access to, will reveal the complexity and the potential damage that the haste of this decision could render on our taxpayers. With access to that now declassified information.
Ms. Peterson, okay, go ahead.
Right. Those
Documents
documents are only available if council decides to waive its privilege.
Waive it.
I would make a motion to waive it.
And
Okay,
ag-
so,
And again,
let's,
my advice would be that we do not waive our privileges.
All right, so go ahead.
with, potentially, with access to the declassified documents that you seek, I hope you find what you are looking for there. However, in the absence of the impact, with the absence of knowing the impact on our insurance pursuant to this case, I'm going to continue to abstain from this vote.
So at this point, Council President Carriffy is recused from the matter. So we have 3 yes votes on the motion, 1 abstention, and a recusal. So the motion passes.
Want to take a 5-minute recess?
We only have one more. We only got this one.
Resolution 2019-178, resolution adopting an affirmative marketing plan for the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills. Motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Peterson, seconded by Mr. DePiero. Roll call. Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, I'd ask the council members, stand by. I'd ask the council members to review the consent agenda. There's no questions or concerns. Ms. Grignani, approval of payroll and bills?
CFO Ann Cucci recommends authorization for payment. Item number 1, authorize payment of the 9/6/19 regular and miscalculations.
Miscellaneous.
Miscellaneous payroll estimated at $1,650,000 each. Payment of bills from voucher list 9/2/19 through 8/1/19 totaling $7,536,240.42.
Please keep it down. Good.
Motion to approve the authorization for payment above by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Grignani, seconded by Mr. DePiero. Roll call. Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes, at this
Motion
time, I'll
passes.
entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, seconded by Ms. Grignani. Roll call. Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
We're adjourned. Have a good night.